Hi, this is Crystal from daughtersofthecreator.com, and I'm continuing my series through my book, Seriously God, and I'm looking at glimpses of grace, and I'm looking at day 22, focus on the promise, not the problem. Based on Romans 4:20, no unbelief made him waver concerning the promise of God. This is speaking of Abraham, who was 75 years old when God promised him he would be the father of a multitude of nations. And I'm sure from that promise, that moment that promise was made, Abraham expected a son pretty quickly. But yet, it was 25 years later, when he was 100 years old, that his son was born to him, when a child should never even really ever be born to a 95-year-old woman and a 100-year-old man. But God blessed them to have this son who brought them much joy. And I think sometimes with us, we see the promises of God and we want to believe the promise, but we keep seeing the problem. See, we want to say, God, I know you said you would open the windows of heaven, but here's the problem. My bills are due. Or God, I know you said that you could make all things work together for my good, but see, this thing, it's really bad, and I don't see how it can ever be good. But what God is saying is focus on the promise. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. Focus on the fact that God intends for us to grow spiritually. Focus on His ability to meet all our needs according to His riches and glory. Focus on God saying, I have plans for you, for your good, to give you a future and a hope. Those are the promises that we have to hold on to and not focus on the problem. Focus on God and His way of answering our prayers. And I have found personally it helps me to focus on the promise by singing praise songs, playing worship and gospel music in the morning as I'm getting ready for work. It helps me to listen to preachers who have sound doctrine and preaching truth. It helps me to encourage myself by talking to other people about Christ and hearing from others. So all those different things help me focus on the promise and not the problem. We're always going to have problems. As soon as something great and good happens, I promise you turn around and there's something else you got to deal with. That is the life we live. But God has a promise for us. And He said, I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. He's going to keep us all the way to the end. So I just want to encourage you. If you have a problem, find a promise in the Bible. And every time Satan comes to your mind and tries to tempt you to worry or become anxious or angry, focus on that. Focus on that word from God, that promise, and hold on to it. And it will turn your heart away from the problem to the promise and eventually to God more than anything. This is Crystal from daughtersofthecreator.com. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a blessed day. And remember, focus on the promise. Bye for now.